Today I'm gonna climb Cielo. It's 1500 meters high, and it's at the back of the house actually, where we're staying. So small adventure in the everyday life. That's what I really enjoy. Also gonna do a little bit of a recap of 2024 and talk about, you know, what did actually happen with 100 miles in 20 hours, and you know, just a summary of 2024. So let's see what we got here. So we got 7 kilometers to go, 16.5% grade. I think it's roughly 1,000 meter climb, a little bit more. Unfortunately, this is the first day since we arrived that we have a lot of clouds. So I'm sure once I get up there, I'm not gonna see anything. It's nice to be out so early as well. See kind of the world come to life. It's a pretty steep climb at places, so not runnable for me at least. So as I climb Cielo, I wanted to do a little bit of recap of 2024. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened with the 100 miles in 20 hours, and also how I achieved my overall goals from what I set them out to be in January last year. So, I mean, the overall goal is always to be about longevity and getting old while running. But the more short-term or mid-term goals and the goal for 2024 was essentially to get faster. But then you also need to set a measurable goal, of course. And for me, that was to say 20 hours for 100 miles at Kullamannen. The sun is coming up now. It's getting daylight. Well, it's actually almost 9 o'clock now, I think. Four kilometers to go. I think the steep climb starts soon. It's getting close. It's getting close. And right now there are no clouds on the top. Fantastic. There's been clouds on and off the whole time. I actually see one or two person in front of me. So I did hear voices before. It was for real. Down there is Nerja. And out there you can see the cross, which is the top. But those guys are coming down again. It's so great to get to the top and reach your goal for the day. But hitting the peak here when the clouds are rolling in, it's a little bit of a metaphor for the racing year of 2024, where I believe I reached my goal. I reached the peak capacity, so to say, but I was not able to show everyone my true potential at Kullamannen. So but I think what's the most important is to enjoying the process and yeah, having your why in running. And for me, that is very much enjoying the process and improve and learn new things. So it got super windy and I'm freezing a lot. It's actually 1500 meters up. It's not many climbs in Sweden where you can get 1500 meters straight up, and now I have a good downhill as well, 1500 meters straight down. Yeah, let's tackle the big elephant in the room. So what happened with 100 miles in 20 hours? I mean, yeah, I basically DNF'd at Kullamannen. So not very good. I think still I had a capacity of doing 100 miles in 20 hours, but I was not able to show it. So it was a little bit like getting up on that peak, covering clouds. So you reach the top, but then you don't see, you cannot show it to anyone. So anyway, for me it was kind of two types of races this year. So one where I wanted to perform, so that type was Kullamannen, but also Österlen Trail earlier in the year, where I was going for, you know, aggressive splits, aggressive energy plan, really wanted to race it. Both of them, maybe because of too aggressive energy plan, I don't know, but my diabetes went crazy. So I was so super low for the first 5-6 hours of both races, which basically meant the whole race at Österlen, where I actually managed to finish. But the Kullamannen, that put me off, you know, the time splits and everything. And then in both races I didn't really have a plan B, so it was all about hitting those splits and you know, stupid. But anyway, with Kullamannen, when I kind of figured after 120k that I will not make it in 20 hours, then my body just shut down. It was no plan B, it was no meaning or reason, there was no why of just getting a ring, another ring, or getting the stones, whatever. So yeah, I just DNF'd that race. So my learning from those races were, you know, you kind of have to have a plan B, because after all, we're in it for the fun of it. You want to be in the happy place. You have, you know, all the people there to socialize with and so on. And you should really take the opportunity to make the best out of it, even though it doesn't work out. So I need to prepare a plan B. Then there was another type of race which I can also learn from, and that was the type of race where I didn't have a plan at all. The only ambition was to go there and have fun and see, you know, where it ended up. And so I had two of those, Ring of Fire on one hand, and then the last one, Cielo Trail, which was, you know, the week after Kullamannen, so a 50-mile race. So both those races, I was probably performing, you know, at my peak level ever, more or less. Ring of Fire, I had a religious experience. Ended up, you know, chasing the podium, and managed to, you know, pull that off. So overall second, which was impressive. And I mean, look at the times as well. So I was running fast, I was running good, I was running well. And, you know, there I didn't have a plan, as I said, and the energy plan was just to refill the Coca-Cola that was in the aid stations, pretty much. So I just found the flow. I was in a runner's high for 3 days, and that's really the feeling I should try to get that. Very much the same experience as Cielo Trail. I was there to find my happy place after the disaster race at Kullamannen. So I was running around, getting into the mode, doing airplane arms, you know, running with meeting some new friends on the trail, having a blast. And that was a really good race in terms of time and everything, also considering that I did, you know, 120k the week before. So and then I also had Gax, another 100-mile race, where I almost actually made it in 20 hours. Not really. And if I had not made, you know, the mistakes of navigation mistakes and so on, and if I pushed it a little bit harder in the end, and, you know, this and that, I was just like 20 minutes off. So I know I had it in me. But what's most important for me is not necessarily the performance of the races. It's the process and how to get there, you know, improve week over week, stacking the bricks basically. And that's how we're going to continue 2025 as well, for sure. Yeah, so this is a pretty nice view of Pico Cielo, and I'm more than halfway down probably, and I'm kind of hitting this more road, easy running. It's actually good to smash up my legs a little bit. Yeah, steady running downhill, 1500 meters, should be doing some damage to my legs, hardening them. It's impossible to get that kind of training in Sweden. I don't know if we have anywhere we can run 1500 meters downhill. So I really enjoyed the training in 2024, and that's the most important thing, right? Staying injury free, having the consistency, finish every run with the feeling that you just want to go out and run tomorrow again. I mean, that's the basis for running, really. And still you want to progress a little bit, at least not decline now when I turn 50 and everything. Christian has helped me with putting some structure into it, and he has prescribed some more interval training. So I would say controlled threshold. So Tuesday and Thursdays, and they have been, the faster ones have been 5 minutes, six times 5 minutes, something like that, and the lower threshold has been like 15 to 20 minutes 3 times. So a lot of that, and then also brought in some strength training into the mix, more body weight training actually, not so much heavy lifting. I have also been prescribed strides, part of the long runs, etc. But that, I must admit, I have not really taken on board. So that's something to bring forward to 2025, to develop more the top end speed through strides. So, shorter efforts, 20 or 30 seconds uphill ideally. So one challenge with the training this year has been to fit, proper training in between the races. So I had a lot of big races. So Snowdonia. Well, I actually forgot to talk about Snowdonia. That was, a great experience as well, where I also just went with the flow and drank Coca-Cola. So, that's the way to go, actually. That was probably my best race in a way, because I won my age group even. So, yeah, UTMB age group winner. Yeah, so what I wanted to say was that I had a lot of big races, and it was, kind of hard to fit a proper race schedule in between. So between Snowdonia and Lavaredo, for example, it was just a month or something like that. So, and then between Lavaredo and Gax, it was also 3 weeks, and so forth. So I had a big block in the beginning of the year where I could have some structured training. Unfortunately, that, early in the year I was sick quite a bit. So not great for the consistency, but still, I had 3 months of training, something like that, on and off at least. But the strange thing, I was recovering remarkably quickly from all the races. Maybe not Snowdonia, I mean, that was a beast that took 44 hours to complete. So, I was probably out for 2 weeks, not really running. But from all other races, just a couple of days, and then I could do some easy running. Always biking, even after Snowdonia, just 2-3 days after. And then getting some interval training, 2-3 weeks out from the race. So that allowed me to, between most races, I was actually getting some speed work done in between. So I think I could use the races also as training for the next race, so to say. So actually I didn't do a lot of long runs, because the races themselves became my long runs this year, and I think that's how it's going to be 2025 as well. So not going out on the 5-hour weekend runs very often, because then I'd rather do a race pretty much. So let's see how that works. So that also means that I I might not need to push it to the limit in all the races, but staying more controlled. And I guess that's good for preventing injury risk, for recovering quickly after the race, etc., etc. So it's not that important to race a specific time, but still, you know, I want to progress, and that's the challenge going forward now when I turn 50. So let's see. It's nice with a little bit of a change, and it's just a slight downhill. Perfect. Regarding training volume, I actually reached my goal today for the yearly volume. So I have this default target that I set for the last 5 years or whatever, which is 10k per day for 3,650 kilometers. And yeah, I think on this run I actually passed that. So maybe I have 1 or 2 more runs this year, so small margin, but it actually always ends up pretty much the same. So it's never more than 4,000. I never reached that, but in the last 4 or 5 years it's always been more than 3,650. So consistent, and consistency is king. The summer is back. Blue sky is here and it's warm. This is how it's been for the last week or so. It was only when I was up climbing that mountain it was actually a bit of cloud and a lot of wind. Yeah, so this is gonna be my last film for 2024 for sure. It's just 2 days left or something like that. Now, the big question is, should I continue with this kind of training vlog concept for 25? I don't know, let me know if you find that interesting. Maybe I should put some more energy into it. If you have some good ideas, please tell me. And probably gonna do it differently for sure. I have a lot of nice races lined up for next year. Yeah, I look forward to 2025, and I believe I can still progress even after 50. So that's gonna be, of course, the main target. I just returned from the run, so I'm back at the base camp here. And yeah, the run was in total 24 kilometers, 1,500 meters of elevation, and it took a long time, a little bit too long, but I enjoyed it. And this is a great place. I mean, you have the sea down there, and then you have the mountains over here. So now we're gonna go and explore some stuff with the family. See you.